We'll now open the final presentation for today, and we will hear about the experience of Znalosti.gov.sk, as in Slovakia. We'll look into the knowledge graph for e-government interoperability. With us, working on the project were two people, Miroslav Líška and Viktoria Šinderlíková, but Miroslav is joining us and will be making the presentation on open data interoperability. He works for the Ministry of Investments, Regional Development and Information of Slovakia. So, Miroslav, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me, please?
Very well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you. My name is Miroslav Líška, and I will be speaking today on behalf of my colleagues, Viktoria Šinderlíková, and also our external collaborator, Marek Šurek. And we are going to present our internal project, Znalosti.gov.sk, which is a knowledge graph for Slovak e-government. I will be talking about three things: the use cases of knowledge graph, its components, and I will share a few screenshots. And in the end, I will mention a few sentences about our other project, interoperability.gov.sk. Okay, so what are the main use cases of the knowledge graph? The first one is to create a central knowledge graph and knowledge hub for structured metadata. That's the most important. Then there is support and establish semantic interoperability on Slovakian level as well as on level between Slovakia and EU, and also provide structural metadata services for public information systems. Okay, so the first use case, it is very obvious that in government there is lots of information about structural metadata or reference data scattered all over the government information systems, databases, forms, documents, model, and whenever. And it is really not possible to work with those informations like in its entirety. So that's the reason for the knowledge graph to concentrate structural metadata, its management on one place. Here it's a slide about semantic interoperability, and our central data office, in collaboration with Ministry of Interior or Ministry of Finance, you can see here the actual status of the project. So in the center we have a knowledge graph, which contain, as I mentioned, structural metadata, ontologies, and taxonomies. And the mentioned information systems like Central Economical System, it provides open data API that returns RDF, like orders, invoices, and other stuff represented as RDF and using ontologies which are located in the knowledge graph. And of course, the same scenario is in address register. Address register provides again new open data API that return information about addresses, buildings, streets, and again they are using the ontologies which are defined in the knowledge graph. And there are lots more systems to come, like for instance, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, for the sake of one only technical system, we are working now on the API that will return education evidences, again with the ontologies from the Znalosti. The important thing that I would like to mention is that Znalosti.gov.sk is not mentioned to load every data from our government in one linked open cloud. Yes, the Znalosti.gov.sk it's in Slovak. Sorry, acknowledge. This Znalosti.gov.sk is focused on the structure metadata. So for instance, when I request a URI that represents a resource about the physical addresses or buildings, this is routed with dereferencing to address register. Similar situation is like when I request a URI that represents order invoice, this is again with dereferencing routed to central economical system. And our Znalosti.gov.sk, the central knowledge graph, it provides services to handle such dereferencing for structured metadata. So ontologies, its elements like classes, properties, or concepts of taxonomies and others. Okay, so the architecture is not very complex right now. We are using these three main parts. We are using a workbench for metadata management. And then there is a great ETL open source link pipes that we are using, and using them, we are ready to publish those knowledge graph to the Znalosti RDF database, which again provides the API for the referencing, as I mentioned, for other information system, as well as a Sparkle endpoint. So to be more illustrative, here are a few screenshots, and it's very similar than DBpedia, but this time we are talking about government data. So I am now on the portal Znalosti.gov.sk, and I'm going to search for Bratislava. As you can see, the system returned several results because Bratislava is occurs in several different entities, such as name of districts or city municipalities. And for instance, when I choose the Bratislava Meskača Staré Mesto, that is all town, I get all the triples or all the knowledge about the Bratislava Meskača Staré Mesto. And what is important or an interesting, that's a classical link data thing, is that you can see the merge data from different information system. Yes, as you can see, I have you can see the flags which were taken from the heraldic register of Slovakia, as well as the labels, or for instance, you can see also some physical addresses are taken from registry of addresses because they are located in this city municipality. The full list of the structural metadata, which are the key things that constitute the knowledge graph, you can see on this screen. You can see several national ontologies like ontologia finančných entít, financial entities ontology, or ontologia fyzické osoby, physical person ontology. These were derived from our reference registers, but of course they are mapped to European vocabularies. And in addition, you can see also some code lists and taxonomies taken from the publication office of European Union, such as frequencies, continents. So this list represent the actual important content of the knowledge graph. Okay. Additional important thing that can be found on the knowledge graph is also examples of instance data from reference registers. Yes, now you can see several data sets as age agendas, or information systems, or public electronic services from different public authorities. And this is very useful in a case when the public authority with its supplier is preparing a project or developing an API that should follow the rules of the interoperability. So this is very, very, very good and essential.
Miroslav, I'm afraid we're running out of time for the actual presentation. I have several questions here for you. So can you maybe give us a one-sentence conclusion to your presentation, and then we can take the questions? Or
All right. Okay. Okay. I will just mention the last project that we are working on. It's interoperability.gov.sk. This is a methodological portal when it is possible to find lots of regulation in terms of interoperability. So that is from my side.
thank you very much. So we have a first question here. Are the ontologies for the knowledge graph publicly available? Sorry, so are the ontologies for the knowledge graph publicly available?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. They are available. The Znalosti.gov.sk provides also Sparkle endpoint, so it is possible to download all the triples from the knowledge graph.
Okay. And is the interoperability between institutions involved in the project having a direct impact on individuals?
I believe yes, because we are, as Data Central Office, we are collaborating, as I mentioned, with Ministry of Interior or Ministry of Finance, and all data that represents orders in invoices or financial data are now available in RDF as link data, and those data provides enormous advantages for analysis and other processing. Yes, it is possible to work with all the data in entirety.
Okay, and do you use GraphDB with Workbench?
Yes, we are using Workbench. That's for metadata management, for ontologies and taxonomies. But right now we are not using GraphDB, but rather RD4J database. And right now it's still sufficient, and we will probably switch to commercial databases once the data will be enormously big.
Thank you. And probably a yes or no, or maybe just a couple of words for the final question, but do you see a line or maybe a link in this system between open data and public government data?
Yes, of course. The public data, the best way how to publish them and share them is to use linked data. Yes, this is I think the best example of all is to provide government data, open government data as linked data.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Miroslav, for your answers. I'm glad we managed to run through all the questions. So thank you. Bye-bye.